On the morning of Friday, April 15th, 1938, a wealthy, influential young man boarded a private plane. This was something he'd done dozens, if not hundreds of times before, but this time would be very different. This is the strange disappearance of Andrew Carnegie Whitfield. Not much information is readily available on Andrew Carnegie Whitfield's early life. He was born in 1910, graduated from Princeton University, and later went to work in business. In June of 1937, he married a woman named Elizabeth Halsey, who went by the nickname Betty. Andrew also had something else associated with him that you might have figured out by his name. Andrew Carnegie, the famous steel tycoon and philanthropist, was his uncle. Possibly because of this, at least in part, Whitfield was described by many sources as high society. On the night of Thursday, April 14th, 1938, 28-year-old Andrew had an argument with his wife. According to his brother John, Andrew said during this argument that he was going to disappear. Elizabeth Whitfield would later tell investigators that her husband said the following that night: "I am going away, and I won't tell you where or why. I can't tell you when I will be back. I am just going to disappear." Following this argument, Andrew left home. Later that night, he checked into the Garden City Hotel on Long Island under the false name Albert C. White. Just after midnight, he reportedly called his wife from a hotel phone and told her, "I'm going to carry out my plan." It's not clear where this information came from. Some sources said it was from a telephone operator, and others say a bellboy at the hotel overheard the conversation. But a lot of talk and speculation about this case hinges on that quote. The next morning was Friday, April 15th. Around 9 a.m., Andrew, who was an amateur aviator, set off in a private plane from Roosevelt Field. He was supposed to land in Brentwood, about 25 miles east, but his plane never showed up. On April 19th, the Nassau County Police started a search for Andrew's plane, and other pilots were told to keep an eye out for it. There was an allegation that he'd taken a ship to Europe, but that ship was searched and he wasn't found on board. In early May, a report surfaced of a plane sputtering and dying over the Long Island Sound on the day Andrew was last seen. That report was later dismissed. Other alleged sightings of sputtering or crashing planes occurred in Oakdale, Schenectady, on Fire Island, Darien, Connecticut, and Newton, Connecticut. But searches in all of these places, as well as a search of the Long Island Sound, turned up nothing. The Whitfield family had already called off their own search in late April, saying they thought Andrew had left voluntarily. One of his brothers wondered if he'd run off to start a new life because he found his life too boring. In June of 1938, Elizabeth Whitfield filed for separation from Andrew and sued him for abandonment, though she reportedly only did this to get more publicity for his case. In August of that year, a man in the alcoholic ward at New York City's Bellevue Hospital said he was Andrew. This claim was debunked by a physical examination. Andrew was declared legally dead in 1946, and his case is no longer being investigated, leaving far more questions here than answers. So what happened to Andrew Carnegie Whitfield? Let's talk theories and speculation. The first theory is that Andrew left voluntarily. This is the theory that a lot of his family members believed early on, thinking that he was in hiding and or had cut off all of his loved ones to start a new life. Other more modern speculators have suggested he had plans to do this, but met with foul play at some point. The next theory is that Andrew took his own life. 2 life insurance policies were found in his luggage at the hotel, with his wife being the beneficiary of both of them. This is the main detail that seems to fuel this theory. A lot of people speculating about this case have also interpreted his quote about carrying out his plan as meaning suicide. But one person suggested the plan might have been less nefarious and could have been something as simple as planning to go fly his plane. Another person wondered if the quote was made up entirely by a hotel employee to gain attention for themselves. The last theory is that Andrew's plane crashed and he and the wreckage have never been found. This is the theory that the police and Andrew's brother John initially believed. There was also early speculation that he flew very far out and ran out of fuel. Andrew's plane had enough fuel to go over 100 miles, and his original route wasn't supposed to take him over water. But there has been speculation that he decided not to take a straight shot and meander a while, possibly taking his time, enjoying flying his plane, or just enjoying the so-called scenic route. Did he end up crashing during this meandering, possibly over water? Commercial planes, much larger than Andrew's, go missing, so it is conceivable that it could happen to a smaller private plane too. Whatever happened, Andrew Carnegie Whitfield hasn't been seen in almost 85 years. Whether he took his own life, went off somewhere to start a new one, or crashed his plane remains a mystery to this day. Andrew Carnegie Whitfield was 28 years old when he was last seen on Long Island, New York, on April 15, 1938. Andrew is a white male who was 5 feet 8 inches tall at the time of his disappearance, with blue eyes and dark hair streaked with gray. He was last seen wearing a dark gray Brooks Brothers suit, black shoes, a white collared shirt, and a gray fedora. He also had on a watch and a gold ring with a dove engraving. In life, Andrew had an appendectomy scar and went by the nickname AC. His case is currently closed, and he would be over 110 years old if alive today, so he likely is not.